Quick episode for you today. Not a lot to cover. I want to go over just kind of a trend that I've noticed. This typical day. Mostly a lot of the days we've had lately, especially on this portfolio, have broken even for the most part. I mean, I guess we're up $800, but um, we see it start off halfway decent, goes up what I think was 2%, $3,000. Immediately goes down 2,500, basically at 1.5 points, goes up, down, and settles even. And as I notice as we look at the week, we have these jaggeds, right? Up, down, up, down. It looks like an EKG. Down, up, down. I mean, that straight up looks like an EKG. We go to the month, and we get these really weird jaggeds. So, like, if we look over the last 3 months, that's about how it should look, right? But when we go over the month, it's flat, down, up, down, up, down, up, EKG. I mean, this is a straight EKG here. Down, up, even, up, down, up, down, up, down. Even here, down, up, down, up, down. And so I think it's because I'm not the expert. And again, you're not watching this because I'm the technical guy. I'm not going to bore you to death. I'm not bringing out calculus or doing anything, polynomials or what do you want to call it? I forget the word for it. But you're not here for that. One standard deviation. We're not looking at standard deviations or anything like that. But one of the things I've noticed is we haven't seen any big jumps. So we look over the last 2 days. We had FTFT down 12% today, but for the most part, everything else is pretty smooth as far as the breakdown. I mean, a ton of, even the positive ones, of, under, look at how many of these are under 1, and then 1, 2, and then we had an exception for AVCT, which is our cloud stock that we sold a while ago. Yeah, it'll go up, I figured, but we had, it's one of the stocks we sold, and it's not really the one that we're going to keep long term. And to be fair, if this happened today and I owned it, I'd probably sell it today. So with that being said, that's kind of the 2-day. And so, it'd be really easy to look at this and say, why aren't these moving? But I think part of it is just, you look at the interest rates, because those have been hit a little bit since the stocks haven't really jumped super high or super low since then. But I think you also see states that have been lifting the restrictions. We're going to talk about that in a second. And the question is, what does it mean long term? We've seen, if you've been paying attention, we've seen the cruise lines are booking, are really good, strong with booking. So we'll just do this. I'll show you an article that I was reading. Cruise lines, home port. Yeah, this is an article that I saw today. All right, so let's go to news. Yeah, so right here, Carnival Cruise Line threatens to remove its ships from U.S. home ports to sail elsewhere. And basically what it's saying is, look, if you guys aren't going to let us, they're basically have to follow the CDC. So it's not necessarily the state issue. So let's say they're going out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale. They don't have a concern with Ron DeSantis in Florida, but they have to follow CDC requirements. So the problem is the CDC hasn't given them any guidance whatsoever. So their current plan is, if you're an adult, you have to show proof of double vaccination, full vaccination. And if you're a kid, you have to show a negative COVID test within a certain amount of time. We talked about that in a prior video. Well, they haven't gotten any guidance from the CDC. And so they're just saying, fine, we're not going to sail from Miami. We'll just sail from Jamaica, or we'll sail from the Bahamas. We'll sail from someplace else, because their bookings are through the roof, and they need to execute these bookings, and they need to fulfill the bookings. I mean, they just can't keep pushing these sold bookings on forever. They have the money. The pent-up demand is there. They just have to execute on it. And they're like, look, either poo or crap or get off the pot. And so we're starting to see that. So with that being said, the big picture thing that I see is, do not make any moves to sell anything unless it's already something that you were looking to sell before. And for me, most of the things that I'm looking to sell, if we take a look at this right here, are, we'll get to that. Most of the ones that we have to sell are not domestic travel stocks. So we have Azul, which is a British airline, fine. We have Corsair, which is a video game. FCell, which is a Biden stock, it's an energy stock. NextID is a cybersecurity stock, and Fubo is a streaming stock. So we're not affecting that. We're not going to change anything whatsoever. But in light of that, I'm like, okay, well, let's see if we can take advantage of anything. So we looked at the movement today. 6% is not really enough to make a jump unless we have a good reason to do so. I mean, everything has to line up for us to do so. The best one we have is FTFT, down 4%. We'll take a look at that, and it's down 13% overall. So we go to 2-day moving, and we look at FTFT. Basically, you have a combination of 4.33%. It's up to 11.33%, which means it was down 7% the day before. FTFT, let's see how much we have in holdings for them. So FTFT, we have 3,800. So I'm thinking, okay, if we can drop our cost basis, man, that's going to be pretty good. So what I decided to do was, and we'll take a look at this. So we decided to do is we'll take FTFT 3874.75. So 3874.75, and then we'll add on the buy here. We'll talk about that. Let's see, 23.75. No, that's not true. That would be way off, wouldn't it? Okay, so 23.75 plus FTFT 3874.75 divided by, what is it, 800, 630, 1130. So we're dropping our cost basis down from 615 to 553. It's currently at 529. So that's going to be a nice little drop and help us get to break even. And the whole thing, what we're looking to do anyway, if we look at this, is we're looking to, do we have a sell order on this? I guess we don't. Potentially looking at a sell order on this as well, because this is in our others stock that we're looking to liquidate if we can do that as soon as possible. So with that being said, I took a look at FTFT, and I wanted to take a look over the last month, and the lowest it got down was right here at 476. We're getting close to that right now. 524, it's sitting at 529. If it gets down to 475, then right there, 475, then we'll buy it. If not, then we don't have to buy it. If it goes up, that's great. If it goes down a little, I don't really care. If it goes down to 475, we're going to buy it. And we'll see. And it can blip up to 750. It can jump that fast if we want to do it anyway. So that was one of the buys that we had. Also, we took a look at, all right, so we took a look at a 2-day let's take a look at the 1-day. The big drop here was 7% for bowling, the bowling stock. These are people at Bowling of America or something like that. So I want to take a look at the overall trend, and this thing just doesn't move a whole lot. Like it's just flat move. 1069, 1025, it just jumps in kind of weird blocks. So it went up, got all the way up to about 1150, exactly 1150, and it started dropping down to 1010. So I looked at over the last year, kind of been up and down. I took a look over the last 5 years to see pre-COVID. Man, the thing is dead, stopped at 1446. So I think we want to take a look at the lowest it got. I think the lowest it got was what, 90, was that right? 901? No, I take it back. It got down to about 780. So I said, okay, if we can get this stock at, not 780. No, it doesn't have to go that far. So let's take a look here. If we can get it right around, where was the one I was looking at? Yeah, it was kind of flat right here. It maintained its flatness and then went up. This one was a little bit of an exception. 942, 940. All right, so if we kind of break even between the 10 and the 941, we'll get this one at 975. If we get that, we'll be happy to buy it at that point. And then obviously we look at that over the last month, and I think where has it got up to 1182. So that's a nice little jump if we take it. So, but it's got to hit the number that we want. Right now it's at 1010. If it goes down to 975, then we're good to go. And I might actually drop it a little bit. But so those are a couple buys we did. We got Skills, which was that company I talked about where Steven Soderbergh is on the board of directors, and they got a contract with the NFL. So technically, we have 2 NFL stocks, this and the Hall of Fame one. And so, we'll let that one go. Let's see. And then today, I'm not sure why. Let's make sure. 157. Just want to make sure I have this because this number is off. It says right now we're up 800. Let's see, but it says we're down 2,900. So something's up. So 170, 157, and 58. Yeah, so that's there. I'm not really sure what the difference is. There must have been something. I probably didn't update it from the prior day, so we'll just ignore that number because we're up 800. So overall, we're doing pretty good. Cinemark is just below in the red. That'll be fine. Once you see the summer movie season start, you'll see those theaters take off. So get those while you have those. Fuel Cell. I think we look at all these infrastructure bills that Biden wants to put out. And apparently Kristen Gillibrand from New York, the senator from New York, says everything is infrastructure. Apparently video games are infrastructure. I'm joking, but it seems like it. But this one is a direct infrastructure. They're going to be giving subsidies to charging stations. So Fuel Cell is awesome. Now, that being said, you guys are probably saying, well, wait a minute, Matt, don't you have a sell order on that? I do, but I want it to get up to 20. It's only sitting at 12 right now. So if it trips 20, we'll gladly sell it because we want to get back into the reopening stocks. Let's see, beyond that, Future FinTech, that's a cybersecurity. We're going to hopefully buy that, drop our cost basis down, and sell it. Fubo will come back. This will be one we hold for a long time. Next idea is the cybersecurity one. That's going to come eventually. It just is. It's like buying Amazon early on, or Facebook early on, or Apple early on, something like that. Penn National Gaming. All right, this one went down recently a little bit. Basically, if you haven't read it, basically because Dave Portnoy, who owns Barstool Sports, and Penn National Gaming has a 35% stake, I think 35%, in that. Basically, somebody published a sex tape of him. So it's like revenge porn in a sense. So, and had some crazy stuff on it. And so his response was, yeah, I get down. And by the way, buy the dip. Buy this. I think his quote was buy the sex tape dip, which I thought was really, really funny. And it's the best stock advice I think we've ever gotten. So this is a leader in the online betting. Every time a state approves betting and more people do it, you're going to see these stocks go up. So I have no intention of letting this one go. And this one I think is going to spike really good in the near future. Royal Caribbean, we read about their news today. They're barely below zero. We're riding this one long. Skills is the same thing. This one will come back. I have no doubt about it. And we bought a bunch of this, got up to 8,000. But as soon as it hits the black, again, it's in our Biden stock. I think we have it right here. Oh, I don't have it on my list to sell here. But it's in our other stock. So as soon as that gets back to zero, we're going to liquidate that. And then Verint is a really nice stock, barely down. That one's going to take off in the future. I don't know how far in the future, but it'll be fine. So with that being said, we're set up. If it goes down, we have a couple good stocks that we're looking to do. We're still looking at Merlin, which does basic asset financing if businesses are looking to expand, which guess what they're going to do is more people open up. We're going to expand. So this is an absolute no-brainer. I can't wait for this one to fill. And then obviously, as the stocks go up, you're going to see a rebound happen at some point. We'll see some of those execute as well. But keep in mind, we looked at kind of the trend overall, and it's been just weird. It looks like an EKG if somebody's about to die, but it's just a really weird pattern. There's no real pattern on it. But this is the point where you do not execute unless you have a reason to do so, and you have a goal to do so, and you're not taking a loss. But in the future, we're going to be fine. So we look over the last year. This is where we're going long term. We look at the last month. Looks kind of crazy. We look at the last year. That's a nice little trend line, and it's actually accelerating a little. With the exception of this field right here, we see the trend line moving up and going a little bit of an acceleration. So, a couple things we want to talk about today. California, the governor came out and said that he wants to lift all restrictions, presuming that's masks too, on June 15th. I will just say this, that if anybody who thinks this isn't related to the amount of signatures for his recall is really, really naive. My guess is once they realize, holy crap, they have so many signatures, we're never going to be able to disqualify them. He's going to face a recall effort, and he goes, the heck with it, let's just open up. Even though he's been the most anal dude in the world. So if we look at, I think it's on this page. Let's have it go down. Yeah, everybody's in the orange or the pink. Nobody's in yellow for the most part, unless you're by Tahoe somewhere. And all of a sudden, you're going to go from this to the green to nothing. So that being said, once California opens up, you're going to see, oh my gosh, you're going to see the cruise ports in Long Beach and San Diego go nuts. There's currently cruise ships parked off of San Diego. I see it when I go to the beach. So you're going to see these things open up. You're going to see Hollywood open up. You're going to see movie theaters open up. And New York is opening up. So between those two states, Texas is open, Florida's open. There's going to be a ton of pressure, financial, political, and otherwise, for the rest of the states to open up. So when we look at this coronavirus thing, we're probably not going to be looking at this anymore because there's no tiers, and obviously it's going to be irrelevant. So with that being said, don't move unless you have a plan to move. Don't buy unless you have a plan to buy, and keep the same strategies that you have and let the stocks fit those strategies. If you're going to buy a stock, don't do it on a whim. Make sure that you have a plan on what you want to do and when you'll buy it. For me, I want to see big negatives here. If we're going to buy it, I want to see hopefully a negative here that we can trim this down. At the same time, we look at 2 days here, same type of thing. I want the bigger the negative, the better. These two paired up really well. And obviously, I'm not going to keep buying more and more and more of it, but we want to do what we can to get those stock prices down. And then obviously, if we see stuff here that we own that doesn't fit our long-term objectives, then we'll take the gain and reinvest it. So with that being said, let's see about tomorrow. Yeah, barely $12 up. That means nothing. So take a look at overnight. Hopefully we'll have a video tomorrow. I'll put a video. If it's not tomorrow, I'll put out a video when we see something that really is going to benefit you. So, and for those that are giving feedback on these videos, I really appreciate it. Also, share the videos with friends of yours. For me, I'm doing this free of charge. I'm not selling anything. There's no hitch. There's no mailing list, nothing like that. I will say this, I am planning at some point to possibly do a paid version of this. Now, all these videos are done basically during the day. I record them, upload them, and then you watch them when you watch them. But I might actually do something in market or before market live. So you can actually ask questions, talk about certain things, and you can kind of walk through things with me. If you're interested in that, drop a line in the comments. I'd be happy to do that. Also, Telegram. It's probably the best of all the social media apps. I'm not putting on Facebook. I'm not putting on Instagram. I'm not putting anywhere else. But I do have a Telegram channel, same title, Getting Rich from COVID with Street Smarts. Look it up. Make sure you subscribe. I will put a link in the video description. But that way you get notified immediately on your phone when a new video comes out. You don't have to wait for potentially YouTube to send you an email, which they don't always do when you have that. And the same thing with BitChute and Rumble. They're pretty decent on sending emails out, but we'll get it on your email. You log into your Telegram app, and you can be one of the first people to check this out. So with that being said, I will see you later. To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click on the link below and let me help you start to experience these results starting right now.